Okay, so we're gonna try to uh, finish today the Active Directory and go for Exchange server, if possible, if possible. And so I'm already have logged into the email, actually Microsoft Drive that I went for admin here, right? And wow, as if it's the first class, right? Okay, so and then it's I'm here, and I'll just go for what? Oh, they've changed the icon. Seriously, Microsoft keep changing things. So Azure Active Directory is now identity. Makes sense, yeah, but strange that it has changed it. Okay, Jamie has shared some screenshot of PDF and Microsoft Entra in the. Oh, so it's about Entra. Excellent, man. Thank you. It's mind map. Okay, so thank you for sharing. ONK. And also, Microsoft has added identity. If I click that, it's going to start Entra, right? Entra.microsoft.com. And yeah, pretty much it's opening the same thing. So I'll just point that out in the screenshot, which is not coming seriously. So I'll just quickly open that, put it in here, go for red sign, and identity, put a triangle arrow here, and take another screenshot. All right, voice not clear. Oh, okay. So guys, is the voice clear or not? Tasting 1, 2, 3, tasting. Okay. Yeah. So I was sitting an inch back. So yeah, the travel distance increased, and it was not very clear. Okay, so I'll just put that there and move ahead. All right. So what we need to do is we're gonna click identity, and we're gonna go to Entra. And last time we were talking about the features of identity governance, and then we went for hybrid. Well, hybrid management is Azure Connect, which we already did. But that was, you know, Azure Connect was all about connecting from. So that was done in our early classes. And we had and have as well our local Toronto branch. So suppose this is the Tor branch, and so we went for. So this is the Toronto branch, and we installed a Windows Server 2019 there, and then in the cloud we connected it to Azure AD. So Azure Active Directory, right? And here it was the local Active Directory, on-prem Active Directory, you can say. Active Directory on-prem, right? Okay, so Active Directory on-prem, and then we synchronized all the users here. So there was sync going on, and if you're still maintaining those environments, so the sync is going on there. Excuse me. So that we did, and we synchronize 390 users from local Active Directory to Cloud Active Directory. Those who have done the lab, please follow earlier videos and do this lab. But Azure Active Directory or AAD Connect we did already, and it's just synchronization of users or identities from on-premises to cloud. Yeah, it's gonna be useful when we go for Exchange. It's gonna be useful. This setup will be still useful when we go for Exchange server. When also when we go for Intune, maybe for SharePoint as well. So we're gonna keep. Hopefully, you're keeping that Windows Server 2019 or 2022 that we installed in our PCs. Okay, so but that was Active Sync, and we just synchronized all the users from on-premise. We created all the users here, and then we synchronized them in the cloud, right? So other than that, yeah, this is just getting started and everything about it. Cloud Sync, the right solution for you. So obviously you have to go for. Now there are some design scenarios here as well: single forest, single Azure AD tenant, multiple forest, multi-forest, single Azure AD tenant, existing forest with Azure AD Connect, new forest with cloud provisioning, piloting Azure AD Connect. So forest is just a security boundary. Normally, Microsoft, when we install on premises, and when you join any companies, they will have actually Active Directory on premises installed. Majority of the companies will have that and do have that. What will happen is, well, if Active Directory is installed, so there will be a domain there, and domain is under our tree. Well, there is a site, and Microsoft creates a site automatically, and then there's naming for the naming convention. They create a tree, and all of this is inside of forest. So forest is kind of a security boundary that outside of this is there's nothing, and forest level policies when they implement, so they implement on the tree, the site, and the domain. There could be multiple sites. It's just physical branch, so it's like a branch, and a tree is just a logical divide, and you can have multiple. You can have another totally different named domain here as well. That is tree domain. So this is the local infrastructure in MCSA and MCSE. I used to teach them all that, and we used to create all that step by step, and we used to create subdomains and other tree domains, and then multiple forests we used to create. Anyway, so if there are more complicated configurations on premises, you can still synchronize from multiple domains. Plus, suppose there's a Tor Toronto domain, so Tor dot downtown dot Tor dot Tor dot local, and then there is downtown.ny.local. You can have a totally different name as well within the same forest, or subdomain as well for Tor.local. Anyway, so no matter how complicated it is, you can still do Azure AD Connect with Azure Active Directory. AD Connect can be used for suppose the subdomain of this domain as well, and you can synchronize from there as well to Azure Active Directory. Now. So we've done that in the start, and then comes the monitoring and health. We've talked about that before as well, I guess. Sign-in logs, you should keep an eye on those sign-in logs that who signed in, especially on Monday morning. Just try to have a look at what's going on and first few of those, alerts. Sign alerts. This is last 24 hours, right? But you can go back to and user sign-ins, non-interactive. So through applications who connected, if there was any connection, and service principal sign in. Service principal is that you get applications use service principals, and those applications would want to, and I have explained that before, that applications would want to get some authorization from Active Directory authentication and authorization. So they would use service principals. And managed identity is also, like a user that an application is using. So managed identity is that if you have an application, suppose you have an application and that application is connected, is having a service account. That service account is getting authorization from Azure Active Directory on behalf of application. Application wants some authorization. Hey, I need to do some high level, high privilege tasks. So, hey, service account, can you ask Active Directory to give me permission to do some high privilege tasks? And user through this, communication, application gets higher privileges and performs certain tasks there. And if it needs privileges for, it just needs to retrieve some users. Maybe there are 10,000 users here, right? 10K users. So in that case, suppose the application wants to retrieve only marketing department users. So service account is still, so this is a service account, but managed identity means that, so if it's a service account, it could be, its password could expire, right? PW can expire. If it expires or changes, which is a very bad idea for service account, because if it expires, so the password will not work and app cannot request anything from Azure Active Directory. If the password is changed, it's no longer the same with the service account. So managed identity, it just managed identity, right? So what managed identity does, excuse me, managed identity automatically changes the passwords. So that's the thing. Automatically maintains the passwords and keep changing it without any, so without any downtime. Without any downtime, right? So managed identity, so you don't have to really worry about the password change or expiry. Well, when we create service accounts, we don't really change the password or we make it password, it should be permanent, right? But other than that, it just maintains the passwords for, it does change that, because if the password is same for 5 years, maybe hackers can figure that out, and then they can hack this user and then take your application down as well. So changing the password is also necessary, and that happens with the managed identity. Okay, so okay, so if we move ahead, so there's audit logs here. And audit logs also just tell auditing happens, what event happened at what time on which date. So that's just overall auditing. We didn't do much here. Provisioning logs, if you deployed something, then it would show here. Health, the overall service health from Microsoft. And Microsoft has an SLA, SLA attainment or service level agreement. SLA attainment provides a report of Azure Active Directory user authentication availability per month. When availability falls below the SLA threshold of 99.99%. So that's the SLA Microsoft offers. The bar for that month in that chart turns from green to red. So here, if it is less than this availability of maybe Active Directory or any of the services there, it's just not available for some time, then for that month, it goes, it turns to red for that month, right? But what is 99%? So SLA, maybe we have talked about that before. SLA chart. First. Wow, SLA is something else as well. Okay. Service level agreement percentage chart I should write. Yeah, there it is, I guess. Oh, cart, that's right. Okay, thank you for noticing that. Hmm. Uh, nah. So it could be no percentage chart and SLA. Yeah. Oh man, seriously? I used to type some term and it would just come up right away. So it's service level agreement percentage. Yeah. So this is SLA, and whichever site is offering that. Oh man, seriously, why did I get that? Yeah. So there's the chart here. It says here 99.99999% is 32 seconds of downtime per year, right? And 99.999% is 5 minutes, 15 seconds of downtime per year. If it's more downtime than this, then the company is fined for that. So 99.99% is 52 minutes, 36 seconds of no service available. If it is more than that, then the company has to pay back some of the dues. So 99.95% is 4 hours, 99 point just 0.9% is 8 hours, 99.5% is 1 day, 99% is 3 days, 15 hours, 40 minutes of service not available per year. So suppose there are more nines Microsoft offers to any company. So Microsoft says that, hey, since I'm offering you this high level of availability, so you're going to pay me more. And wherever it goes lower, so the payment is less by the client to Microsoft. So that's what every other company also offers. And it says shutdown of the operating system, loss of electrical power, network access loss, timeout for application software upgrades and fixes can be 1 to 3 hours per month. Preventive maintenance. So there are so many types of downtimes here that this service level agreement can affects, right? So if any of those these disasters happen, then and how long does it happen? 32 seconds. Within 32 seconds, Microsoft resolves it. Yes, Microsoft does not have to pay back some of the dues to the client. If it is 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, while Microsoft is saying, I'm going to make it available, keep it available 99.99999%. So Microsoft will have to be fined by the client and Microsoft will return some lot of money back to the client. Okay, so that's really mucho importante. Okay, it's very, very important. And this will put in the chart in the slide. All right, so let's yeah, that's it. ONK. So Microsoft says 99.99%. So that is, oh sorry, what was that? So that was 52 minutes, 36 seconds of downtime can happen, and it's okay by the company as well that it can tolerate that kind of downtime or service disruption for the whole year. Within 1 year, that much time, right? 52 minutes only. If it's more than that, Microsoft will have to pay some back. 10% of what client pays to Microsoft per month, they have to pay back, right? Or something like that, more or less. All right. So that is for health. And then there is log analytics. Again, if any of the application creates log files, so first of all, obviously, when you configure that, so you have to configure a storage account in Azure as well, which will cost you a little. And then when any application starts creating log files, maybe 1 MB log file with all. What is log file? It keeps the an eye on the event and its date and timestamp, right? So suppose there was a shutdown of the virtual machine, so a log file will be created that, oh, at 11 o'clock last night, a machine was shut down, and then it started or it was restarting. So obviously 1 MB log files if are created, so that will also accumulate as a storage, and then it will cost you. Diagnostic settings here. An Azure subscription is required to use this capability. Start here to create a new subscription. Well, subscription is something that you have to attach a credit card to, right? So that's where. But what it does is diagnostics. It's gonna help you to diagnose any issues that are there and give you some tips on that. But not all tips, but there are some tools as well there. So that's why it needs a credit card to be connected to the subscription. Workbooks, log analytics integrations are enabled. You don't have access. Are you kidding me? Why would I not have access? Am I not having premium 2 license? So let's check the license here. Licenses in billing, license features, all products, and I do have. Oh, I didn't get the premium 2 license. Try and buy. Okay. I think we actually came to conclusion that we have that. But these things are supposed to be available if we have that. You don't have access, Azure, but it's going to say that, right? It's just saying that log analytics is not installed. That's why. This Azure tenant is not currently enabled to send logs to log analytics. Please click the link below to learn about how to turn on this feature. Read about the Azure AD integration with log analytics. Log analytics is on Azure infrastructure as a cloud. So when we talk about, let me just explain quickly. So log analytics, log analytics is on IaaS cloud, right? So this means that you're using underlying hardware of Microsoft, right? And while this AAD here is on SaaS, software as a service, right? So it says that, hey, you need to create that in Azure IaaS or infrastructure as a service. You need to create that in Azure infrastructure as a service, right? And so this, if you want to create that, so you have to cross from SaaS AD, software as a service AAD, to Azure infrastructure as a service, and then create a storage account there. And storage account, before you do anything, you have to, before you do anything, you have to then first get the subscription, attach a credit card to that, and then you can create a storage account, and then log analytics will then be created, right? And then that could be connected to Azure Active Directory monitoring tools. So that's the overall thing. So we don't have subscription yet, but obviously when we start the Azure course, we will be getting subscription. And the other thing is that Microsoft does not give you 1 month free usage if you ever have created an account on free Microsoft for 1 month before in your life. So if Microsoft detects that, then you will have to convert to pay as you go. Ouch. Okay. So Yeah, this is how it is. And it crosses the SaaS service crosses to IaaS, and then yeah, that's how it is going to be. So that's why workbooks. When we start Azure course, then we're gonna talk about that too. And so usage and insights is the Azure Active Directory application activity, Active Directory Federation Services application activity, authentication methods activity, and service principal sign-in activity. Everything's pretty wow. There's some testing, all that. Application credential activity. So whatever Azure AD application activity. So we successfully sign into Azure portal and sign up portal, WCSS client, which is PowerShell, and Azure Active Directory identity governance. So whatever you have opened, signed into as a in Azure Active Directory to use a feature, Dropbox Business, right? So all that activity is being logged, and you can just check it out that how many times anyone logged into Dropbox and how many times whatever was open here, Exchange Online was opened, or so all this Microsoft keeps an eye on the activity. So Microsoft keeps an eye on all the activity. Federation services activity, obviously, this is about if you have this kind of setup, which we just talked about, that you have a on-premises Toronto branch, and there is ADFS, Active Directory Federation Services server is deployed here, and its only job is to connect local users to outside web applications securely with one username password only. So ADFS, if you're connected to ADFS, then it's activity, whatever activity is going on, it will show here as well, right? So there's ADFS Connect as well. If you have the ADFS, we had used Azure AD Connect, right? So otherwise, ADFS Connect is also there if you have the ADFS server deployed locally, and it's pretty complicated stuff to deploy ADFS servers or servers. You have to publish it to the internet and then get a security certificate and then connect there, right? So that if your Azure is connected to ADFS of your branch, Toronto branch, or New York branch, or whichever branch, then you can download, install, and connect and see the activity there. Authentication methods activity. So authentication methods, users capable of Azure multi-factor authentication, 4 of 24 total, 83% of your organization isn't capable of multi-factor authentication. Okay. So multi-factor authentication, we have enabled only for 4 users. But your actual production environment, so in your company, the score should be 24 out of 24 or whatever number of users you have, all must have MFA, multi-factor authentication. If any one of them does not have multi-factor authentication, so that's where the hackers would get into your environment. So you must have multi-factor authentication. Okay. So other than that, users capable of passwordless authentication. So if you're using Face ID or fingerprint, so that you can use. Now in our company, when the user leaves the company, so we cannot ask them, hey, can you leave your eye with us so whenever we want to log in? Oh, okay, that was ridiculous. Or can you just you have 5 fingers, so why don't you just send us one of your fingers so whenever we want to log in to the machine while you're away? So obviously that's just a joke. But many companies do go for biometric authentication, but we have not allowed this biometric authentication. Sometimes users don't remove that and they hand over the laptop and leave the company to go to some other company or something. So in that case, then we are stuck. Obviously, we can just reimage the whole laptop, but we need to first get all the files from the user's account. So biometrics sometimes is a pain when it comes to management. So, or if we have to troubleshoot and user left the laptop to us, the technical support, and they're like, hey, you should leave a one finger so we could log into the laptop. Seriously. Or you have two eyes, just leave one eye here. I mean, we need to log in, seriously. Okay, anyway, the thing is that passwordless you can use as well. And there's that self-service password reset. So how many users have set up this? Users capable of self-service password reset. Well, that's pretty much everyone should be able to reset their own password, right? So that's okay. That's good, right? Okay, so now the score here in our test environment is bad, but it should be good. And in your environment, right? So I'm just going to go back here. So this is authentication methods activity. Then there is service principal sign-in activity. Now this is important. We haven't configured much here, or automatically whatever is configured by Azure Active Directory, that is showing here. But I have discussed that already, service principal in previous classes, and you just need to go to app registrations, and then you create a new registration, and then you select that first. So I think I had created that application service principal. I've named that, and then you go to certificates and secrets, and then you create a new client secret and attach it to the application. So the application, and that diagram I already created as well, which yeah. So the application, just like the managed identity, it uses the service principal here to access, to ask for privileges from active, direct, and tree. So the application just connects through service principal to the Azure Directory. Hey, Azure Directory, can you give me some higher privilege so I could do some of the tasks? So I just need to retrieve all the users from Azure Active Directory and group information and put it in the application here. Suppose it's a hospital application and it needs to retrieve all the users information here. So in order to show it in the application with different values. So anyway, the service principal is also used for letting application be authenticated with Azure Active Directory. And so that's the service principal. If we go back here, usage and insights. So there is that application credential activity. So if you have put, it's not if, obviously there would be application with the username, passwords, and authentications inside application as well. So whatever application is connected to Azure Active Directory, then Azure Active Directory will give you some activity about who logged into that application at what time for how long, and if the application was automatically connecting to certain service with using its credentials, so that will also be shown here. Other than that, there is bulk operations. Remember that we had done, I had shown you some bulk operations here, where you can create, bulk create a lot of users. You have to just download the CSV file, put the users in a correct format and upload, and it just creates for you. Same for invite. You put the invite information in CSV file and then upload, and it invites or deletes. We delete it as well. You just have to put the user name properly and user principal name, UPN, which is this. So username plus the domain name, and then you put in the file. When you upload the file, it just simply deletes all those users for you. So that's bulk operations. If you have done any of those bulk operations, then it shows all your operations here in the monitoring and health, right? So that's overall for the Azure Active Directory. That's a lot of features there, and we try to go in depth with all and try to explore many of them as well. So other than that, now this identity, like Microsoft has just recently changed in Admin Center. It used to be here Azure Active Directory, and now they have renamed it to identity. So when we click identity, then there are many, there is Azure Active Directory plus there are many identity related features. So if I close this, so when you go to enter admin center, which is all about identity, like username, passwords, and permissions, right? The whole infrastructure. So this is no longer Azure Active Directory. It used to be written here Azure Active Directory, but when you open now, and this just happened last week, we were connecting with the Azure Active Directory name here. Now they've changed it to identity. So identity is basically Azure Active Directory, obviously. Then there's protection, identity governance. We have talked about that already in the identity. This one, identity governance, refer to some previous classes. And then there's verifiable credentials, permissions management, and global secure access. Seriously, wow. You know, they are really copying AWS. If you have seen, I've just uploaded some AWS videos on my channel as well, where I've gone through all those AWS identity, IAM, identity and access management, and then how to create virtual machines, how to create storage, how to create uh, networking, how to do a lot of stuff in AWS. AWS is the arch rival of this Azure Active Directory. AWS is still having bigger market share and is the pioneer of cloud services. So yeah, Microsoft is has been copying. Last 5 6 years I've been teaching AWS and Azure. So Microsoft, whatever is in AWS already, starts appearing in Azure after a year, sometimes after 6 months. So Microsoft is going towards this section of identity, which is already called IAM in AWS, Identity and Access Management. IAM, Identity and Access Management. So anyway, it's good news that now we have a full section of all the services under the name under the name identity, because you have to open identity to get this window that has pretty much everything else about identity. So anyway, this is Azure Active Directory now, and then there's protection here. Um, there is identity protection. We have gone through that already because we have gone in detail with conditional access and secure score, identity center, multi-factor authentication, password reset. We have talked about all that, but Microsoft is rearranging all of those services as well. Identity governance, we have talked about that. Entitlement management, well, access review, privileged identity management, so, and lifecycle workflow, we have finished last week and the week before. Verifiable credentials. Now, this is permissions management and verifiable credentials. So these are the services. So first of all, there's setup here, and it says verified ID enables fast remote onboarding. Yeah. So thanks to COVID, I mean, and now that companies have realized, hey, we can securely work remotely as well, which we always used to think that this is really, really risky to let users connect remotely, because hackers are always on the look for any loopholes to go inside the company network, steal all the secrets of the company, and sell it to the highest bidder, the rivals of that company, and become rich. And then, when caught, then be in jail for next 50 years. So the thing is, verified ID enables fast remote onboarding. What is onboarding? Some employee is hired, but you're in Toronto and some employee was hired in New York, suppose. So that's a lot of distance, right? And you want to verify their identity more. So verify ID enables fast remote onboarding, more secure access, and easy account recovery with standards-based solution for individuals and organizations. So it says that, hey, we're just gonna be making sure it's not a hacker that we are talking to or sharing files with, and we did not onboard some account that was unauthorized, and access to sources is totally secure, right? And standards-based solution. So what are standards-based solution? So standards-based solution is that there are some like this. You can see here, organizations decentralized identity. No, that's not a standard. So standards would be like 27,001. This is international standard. Then there is European standards for identity and access management, and you have to follow those standards as well. So if I go for create, no, why did it took us to the keyword? Configure your tenant for Microsoft Entra verified identity. Prerequisites is Azure Active Directory verifiable credentials is now Microsoft Entra verified ID and part of the Microsoft Entra family of products. So you have to, in the interview, you have to be ready for Microsoft Entra family of products, which is what we saw before here. So this is entra.microsoft.com, and they would be interested if you know that in the interview they would be asking you that what changes Microsoft has done in identity framework. So then you can say that okay, they have reorganized all the sections, and Azure Active Directory is now called identity here. It will still remain as the name Azure Active Directory, but they call it here under, they put everything of Azure Active Directory as identity here, and protection and identity governance are reorganized. It was under Azure Active Directory, but they are reorganizing them at this. And then there is verifiable credentials and permissions management. So if you know some of the major, some of the main names there, you're going to be impressing the interview and or here. So Entra family products. Learn more about the Microsoft Entra family of identity solutions and get started in the unified Microsoft Entra Admin Center. So you can just throw some terminology in the interview that it's unified Microsoft Entra family of Entra Admin Center. If I click that, oh, it just changed the same page. So that's exactly this page. So what would you call that in the interview, or whoever asks here? It would be Microsoft family of, where's that? Yeah. Entra Admin Center, right? Something Entra Admin Center. Oh, there it is. No, there is. It is not. Anyway, we're gonna go back here to verified identity and setup, and I'll just open that again. So it
Can
would
you
be
increase the
demonstrated
size?
accessible. Yeah. So Unified Microsoft Entra Admin Center. That's what it is. So Microsoft Entra Verified ID. What is that? Is a decentralized identity solution that helps you safeguard your organization. Okay, so the main emphasis is that it's decentralized identity solution. So you have 20, 30 branches, it's a big company, and you want to make sure that whoever is accessing whatever resources is doing that securely, and it's not hacker acting as the legit user and accessing your resources, right? The service allows you to issue and verify credentials. Issuers can use the verified ID service to issue their own customized verifiable credentials. Verifiers can use the service's free REST API to easily request and accept verifiable credentials in apps and services. In both cases, your Azure AD tenant needs to be configured to either issue your own verifiable credentials or verify the presentation of a user's verifiable credentials issued by a third party. Seriously, are you kidding me? So they're just saying that we're gonna just offer the credentials of a user with the help of verifiable identity credentials. So Microsoft is just saying that, hey, we have a username password, right? We're gonna verify it more. So wherever the username password is being used, the third party, maybe some other company is connecting with us. Suppose it's Dropbox or Salesforce connecting with us in our company's Azure Active Directory. So if you are letting some user, connect with verified identity, Suppose there are two companies here. This is just a local branch, right? So suppose there's Salesforce here, right? Salesforce.com. So that company has its own set of users, and your company's Azure Turkey subscription, you have a lot of users. So if you are, doing a verified identity process, you're going taking some user accounts through the verified identity process, and then let them connect there. So Salesforce would trust you more that, oh, okay, so they're already Azure Turkey users, but has gone through the verified identity processes. So how decentralized? So Jimmy says how decentralized. Oh yeah, we're gonna be going through that. And oh, seriously? Okay. Well, if if anyone wants to talk, I could test as well. That is my speaker working, because my speaker was off. Can anyone say 1, 2, 3? Or weather's good?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Oh man,
Can you hear
if
me?
you're talking, I cannot. Uh, serious. What's wrong with my audio system? Really? Okay. That's the audio. Yeah, the speakers are here. Hello, just okay. Sound output is supposed to be good, but yeah, it sucks. I think again, yeah, I have another account open as well. That is my company account. So if I go for, oh, you won't be able to see that. Sorry, I did that already. I don't think you're seeing this right now. What I just did. I was going to show you that I have two accounts. Okay. Anyway, so
Uh,
I'm going to go back here.
sir,
Fox on Fire, right? Okay. I'm using the browser Fox on Fire, Firefox.
Amir, Amir bhai?
So let's go back and talking about, yeah. So yeah, it's saying that how does it verify, and how is it decentralized, right? So in the event that you are both an issuer and a verifier, you can use a single Azure AD tenant to both issue your own verifiable credentials and verify those of others. So there's a issuer that is issuing an identity, and there's a verifier that verifies the identity. Now, in simple words, what does it mean? And excuse me. So, simple words is who issues the identity, who creates the username password? Azure Active Directory, right? And verifier is another service that they have created. Hey, the username password that you have created, Azure Active Directory, I'm going to verify it again that it's your username password that has been assigned by you. And I can save it somewhere else as well. And I can put an extra username password on that as well. So anyone wants to access that identity has to go through maybe 2 levels of username passwords. So when we say that, they're given example here. In this tutorial, you learned how to configure your Azure AD tenant to use the verifiable credential service. Specifically, you will learn how to create an Azure Key Vault instance. Oh, what is a key vault? So I'm going to explain that. Set up the verified ID service, register an application in Azure AD. The following diagram illustrates the verified ID architecture and the component you configure. So there's an application, and issue or verify VCs, verifiable credentials. That is VCs, verifiable credentials. So basically, it's about an application that, hey, are your credentials really the ones that we can trust or not? So they are using a service called Key Vault. When you talk about Key Vault, what is Key Vault? Well, first of all, it's in Azure Infrastructure as Service. Second thing is We need to know the terminology first, right? So key vault is where you store keys. Simple, right? So what does that mean? Key vault is Jamin says digital locker. Yeah, exactly. But how does it work? So Azure key vault, right? So it can secure secrets, which are mutual username passwords used by two entities. It can save passwords as well. It can save uh, your encryption keys, decryption, and keys. Oh, so all kind of security Azure Key Vault saves the following. So this means now you have some kind of data here, and that is very critical data, maybe in Excel file, maybe Word file, and they're in a folder. So some kind of data is there, and you use an encryption key to encrypt the data. So data is encrypted, now it is unreadable, and you encrypt it, and when you want to read it, then you take out the decryption keys and you decrypt it. Decrypt means now you need to read it for yourself, or you want to just let others read that, or whoever you want. So you have to decrypt for it to be understandable to read. So you need the keys, encryption key to encrypt the whole data, and decryption key to decrypt the whole data, right? It's not only data, it could be virtual machines as well. VMs, the whole VMs could be encrypted. Folders could be encrypted, right? Obviously, everything's containing data inside. And okay, so in the chat, Jimmy says, I'm using in M365 Office personal subscription, personal vault. Is it? Yeah, definitely. The key vault that saves encryption and decryption keys, secret store for your secrets. Exactly. Raza says in the chat. Yes, the personal vault. I haven't used it, but if it's offered by Microsoft 365, then yes, it stores your secrets, passwords, encryption, decryption keys, and it itself is obviously then encrypted, and it itself has a password to reach. So you have to open it first and then get whatever you want, right? So applications use then Azure Key Vault. Azure Key Vault is used by applications, and applications use that for, obviously, if they want to access data, if they want to access data, access data, then they have to get the decryption key. So they ask the Azure keyword, hey, knock, 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 Azure keyword, this is the password. Azure keyword says, thank you. And what do you want? So application says, I want the decryption key to decrypt the data because I need to retrieve some data there and use it. So Azure keyword says, yeah, sure. You give the password, you can take it. So decryption key is taken by the application, and then thank you, Azure keyword, and it goes back and then grabs, it applies the decryption key, the data is decrypted, and then it is read. So, and then when application is done, it will just request the encryption key, and then the same process happens, and then it simply encrypts that data as well. So this means that nobody else could have access to that. But that is all done by this dude here called Azure Key Vault, right? So, and now suppose a hacker actually attacks the Azure Key Vault and then simply deletes the decryption key, sorry, deletes the decryption key, and somehow damages the decryption key or deletes it, right? And it's gone. So what happens is now the application wants to read the data. It's a very critical and important data, but the decryption key is either not usable anymore or it is gone. So this data will be locked forever, ever, 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 right? So and then you have to go for some paid applications, uh, uh, maybe heavily expensive, and then you have to it will take a huge time and still no guarantee that what level of encryption was done here, so it would take that much longer time to decrypt it. So you cannot lose your encryption decryption keys, especially decryption key you cannot lose because you need to open and read the data. You lose these keys, then you're in big trouble. That data could be unreadable forever, right? So you need to secure those decryption keys, and for that you need to use Azure Key Vault. And applications use that Azure Key Vault regularly in AWS, in Azure, on premises. There are key vaults that are on premises that you can install from different security applications as and well. So Rosa says asymmetric. So there's symmetric and asymmetric, yes. So symmetric and asymmetric would be connected to PKI. We may have discussed that. Actually, we did not. Public key infrastructure and symmetric key are same, keys that are used on both sides, the sender and the receiver. Suppose somebody sends their data, and so that person. So suppose there is A is sending data to B, and they need to know so A has to password protect the data that A is sending to B, right? But that password, A has to somehow tell it to B as well. Hey, I am protecting this data with a password, and that password is obviously you would not go for that, but 123. But whatever the password is, A has to inform B, hey, this is the same password you can use, and B says, okay, what's the password? Now, whenever is delivers that password to B, so the hacker could be eavesdropping at that time, and hacker could get that information about the password because password is same to open and password is same to close or to protect the data. The password, the same password is used, and to open the data here, the same password is used. So it's easier to for the hacker to eavesdrop and get that password. What about if the password is not known by the password is different, or the protection the protection password is different and the opening password is different? Then hacker cannot eavesdrop because it's totally different. So there is symmetric. Symmetric is same password, and asymmetric is that there are different passwords there. So symmetric. Symmetric keys, you can say, or symmetric uh, passwords. So symmetric is same password, but asymmetric is that then you use public key infrastructure, PKI, and that is that when you encrypt data here, encrypt. So crypt, CRYPT. Okay, I have to keep writing that with mouse. So when you encrypt the data here, you're using public certificate, right? So there's a term called public certificates, and you're using. So there's a user is given a public key and private key. Sorry. So user is given a security certificate, which uses public key and private key. So when you're going for so public key, the certificate is or public key is available for the public to use, and public key does only one thing. What? It only encrypts the data. And private key is with the user only, right? Private key encrypts. Yeah, right. Encrypts the data. Exactly, the key pair. So encrypts the data. And private key is that it decrypts. Private key is only with the user. Public key anyone can use. It's like a excuse me. It's like a lock system. So lock and key system, right? So PKI is like a lock and key system. So now you know what, I jumped into something big. It's not that big, but you must understand that still. So I need two things from here in the diagram. I need to have a picture of the key, picture of key, and oh, not that key, man. It gave me the picture of keyboard. So key lock, right? Okay. So I'm searching this. I'll quickly just mention. Oh, there's a key. I need a picture of AWS or Azure. Okay, images. I need a lock now. Okay, some big heavy lock, but just the lock. Okay, this is the lock. Actually, this lock is, I got the older key. Ah, okay, there's the lock, right? Just one more check. Okay, this is the lock. Okay, and lock and key. So the PKI system works like that. And I'm just going to now show that in the diagram. So yeah, so there's a key, right? And that key has a lock as well. In fact, I'll just put it in another diagram. This is too messy. So there's a key here, and there's a lock here as well. Now, somebody is sending, Bob is sending a gift, and that gift is packed in a box, right? And Bob has the lock actually. So Bob is sending the gift, right? So Bob is supposed to have the lock only. So Bob has the lock, and Bob is sending that gift to John, right? So John has the key. So John has the key to the box, and Bob has the lock for the box. So that's the example of public key and private key. But first, let's just understand that. So suppose Bob puts that very important gift here, and then Bob uses the lock, and from that lock, obviously the box is locked now, right? But Bob does not have the key to this lock. So what John said, told to Bob, hey, you need to send me this gift securely. So Bob says, what do I do? John then purchases a lock and the key, and this key is just for this lock, right? And John purchased the lock and key, but sends only the lock to Bob and keeps the key of that particular lock to himself, right? And okay, Bob says, okay, so I'm closing the box and I'm using this lock that you sent me, John. John said, okay. And once it is locked, right? So that gift reaches John. Now, suppose that gift reached by mistake to Sandy, right? Sandy does not have the key to this lock. So Sandy says, okay, there's a box which has a lock, and oh, address is wrong. Okay, what about if I try to open it? Oh, I don't have the key. Okay, whatever. I'll be honest. So let me just send that to the correct address. And John gets it. When John gets the box, only John has the key to open this, right? So that's the example of PKI, which is public key infrastructure. So PKI is public key infrastructure, where you have a public key and a private key. So uh, Bob uses public key, which is available to anyone, to encrypt the message, and only John has the private key to decrypt the message. Suppose this encrypted message went to Sandy's email by mistake, and Sandy is double clicking that email and cannot understand anything here. It's all rubbish because it's encrypted. So Sandy thinks that, okay, somebody sent that, Bob sent me an email, and I cannot read it because Sandy does not have the decryption key for that. Sandy's application does not have the decryption key for that, right? So Bob realizes, oh, I sent it to the wrong user. Bob sends that email again, suppose, to John. So then only John has the decryption key, private key that decrypts that email. So only John will be able to. And obviously, a hacker cannot eavesdrop in the middle. A hacker cannot use sniffers to, even if hacker use a software, sniffer app to hack the email. That is, suppose John is sending an email, and through the sniffer software, a hacker gets that email, downloads it, and opens it. So, oh, it's encrypted because, and the hacker obviously does not have the decryption key as well, unless the hacker uh, hacks the PC or laptop of John, logs in as John by hacking the password. Maybe multi-factor was not there, multi-factor authentication. And then, yes, the private key is in the user account, and the hacker can use a private key to decrypt the email, right? If that is not possible, then just by downloading the email, intercepting the message, it is encrypted. So hacker would take maybe days, months, weeks, years, even to decrypt that email, and it's not worth it then if it takes that kind of time, right? So the lock and key structure is, and this is all asymmetric. So where this, the locking password and opening password are not same; they're different. So in that case, you're more secure, right? So that's how then the PKI works, and it's all about the lock and key concept. That you just send the locks to someone and thank you. Okay, so lock and key concept, right? Always remember that when you talk about encryption, decryption, and you're using asymmetric method for that, right? Okay, and we were talking about verified I, then, and DT. Well, okay, so verified identity. We're going to go back to that, but whenever you hit a terminology, you have to understand that terminology and check it out. So I'll just put this mess on the diagram as well here, and let's go back to what we were actually this diagram for this. So, and it's in WhatsApp as well. Let's keep going. Okay, so we were talking about these, and it says that for applications to really connect to other applications or retrieve data, then they have to use the Azure Key Vault to access service principal, and then connect to any of the other applications or to the Azure Active Directory. But the thing is that application not only has a service principal to securely connect to Active Directory, but that service principal has to be verified again by Azure Key Vault. That there's a password for that service principal that has been saved here in Key Vault as well. Normally, this is not used. This is just an extra level of security that you have added there. Oh, application is using this source principle. Okay, I have saved that password in Azure Active Directory. But what about if I save that password and username or the credentials of the service principal here as well, Azure Key Vault? This is a so already the information is with Azure Active Directory. How about I put the same information here in Azure Key Vault as well? And it has to be verified by the Azure Active Directory first. Hey, is that the username password for this? And it has to be verified from Azure Key Vault as well. Hey, Azure Key Vault, do you have the same username password? And if they both say, yep, it's the same, then the application can go ahead and connect to any other service, right? So that's just verified ID. And this is not just inside Azure. Now you're connecting to outside Azure to maybe Salesforce.com, Dropbox, and 3,000 or 4,000 other applications or online cloud applications there, right? So when they know that, oh, it's verified ID they are using, and they also know that what Microsoft came up with is that it's a two-layer of security that they are confirming again and again. Are the credentials okay through which the application is connecting to other sources? So that's what verified ID basically is. You need prerequisites are that you need an Azure tenant with an active subscription. If you don't have, yeah, we have that. Ensure that you have the global administrator. Yeah, we have that. Or the authentication policy administrator permission for the directory you want to configure. If you're not the global administrator, you need the application administrator. Yeah. Ensure that you have the contributor. Okay. Create a key vault. Now that requires subscription to be created with a credit card in Azure Active in Microsoft Azure Infrastructure as Service. So this course is still upcoming, where we're going to be creating Key Vault, and so set access policies for the Key Vault. Who can access the Key Vault? We talked about the Key Vault already. Set access policies for the verified ID admin user. So there is that. You can see that there's a Key Vault here and access policies. Who can access that and what that person can do: get, create, delete, sign in. So you put a lot of policies there. They've given all the steps there. But the thing is, setup verified ID is that if you have an application that is using some kind of credentials, those credentials can be verified multiple in a multiple manner. Now, if I go back to this is a step-by-step process for that, but let's just explore a bit more this verified identity. Even in our company, we haven't started using that, but soon when the developers um, start thinking that, oh, okay, why don't we start using it? So then they will start requesting it, and then I have to be involved as well in providing that verified identity. Okay, so here, well, they have mentioned they set a verified ID, and then they gave some steps there as well, and they have configured. They are configuring that, and which organization can use that. So, to verify identity, let's do that. Define organization settings. So I'm just going to go back here. Now, define organization settings. So first of all, confirm your organization's details. Do you have a Key Vault? So confirm that you configured a Key Vault. And do you have an Azure subscription, obviously with the credit card information, to create your organization's decentralized ID? So first you create a decentralized ID here, and then register decentralized ID. Register your DID by uploading your unique DID document that will allow applications and services to verify your credentials and for you to verify credentials from others. So the thing is, it's not decentralized in that sense that, oh, that identification is in New York and that identification is in Toronto as well. Obviously, it's globally available, but they're calling it just decentralized ID, where the application credentials could be confirmed from Azure Active Directory and from the Key Vault as well. But you know what? I have to come up with a lab that is a bit more simpler for that. Just to give an example, but it has been newly introduced here. So I haven't started using that in my company as well. Maybe some big companies are using that with a lot of applications. My company is not that big as well. So register your date by uploading your unique date document. So DID document that has to be confirmed. So when we say that upload your DID document, Azure DID document, we need to understand the process of what is DID document. Azure DID doc. Link your domain to your decentralized identifier, right? So, it takes us to the same. So prerequisites: verify domain ownership and distribute did configuration.json file. How can I verify that the verification is working? Why do we need to verify domain ownership of our date? So Azure Active Directory verifiable credentials is now, yeah, we did that. To verify domain ownership to your date, you need to have completed the following: complete the getting started and subsequent tutorial set. We need to go through some of those, verify domain ownership and distribute date configuration. Now, they keep saying verify domain ownership. Which domain? Obviously, the domain that we have purchased here in the settings and domains. So the domain that we have purchased, possible service issues. Oh, what happened here? Some of your DNS records aren't set up correctly, which may be impacting your organization's use of Microsoft services. Go to DNS records to remove the errors. Ouch. Okay. Anyway, so the thing is that the domain that you have configured here, it needs to be verified again, right? So any hacker could be putting their own information there and pretending to be their domain. So thing is that verified domain ownership, and then give that document that I have verified that. So the domain you verify ownership to your date is defined in the overview section. The domain needs to be a domain under your control, and it should be in the format. Yeah, that's what we have exactly. I just showed you now. From the Azure portal, navigate to the verified ID page, select setup, and then verify domain ownership, and choose verify for the domain. Uh, Copy or download the date configuration file. So that's how you verify your domain. How to verify this domain's ownership? Verifying your domain is important to build trust with your users and other organizations. So with verified ID, you're verifying your domain, and then it gives you a document. Once you get the document, I'll try to do that now. Post the date configuration JSON file at the location specified. Example, if you specify domain, the file need to be hosted at this URL. Oh, okay. This is done for my in Google as well. They say that you verify your account or verify your YouTube account, and then they say that put our security file there. So then we will know that you are the owner of this domain or YouTube account, right? So they do that all across the internet. So they ask that this JSON file, which verifies this is your domain, put it inside your domain somewhere, right? When the date configuration.json is publicly available at the well-known date configuration.json URL, verify it by pressing the refresh verification status button. How to verify this domain's ownership and verification status. So pretty much that's the verification. Test out issuing or presenting with Microsoft Authenticator to validate. Make sure the setting in the Authenticator warn about unsafe apps is toggled on. So suppose you're deploying any app, is it safe or unsafe? Verified domain will tell you that too in future. How can I verify that the verification is working? The portal verifies that the date configuration.json is reachable over public internet and valid when you click the refresh button. Okay, so well, for my YouTube account, it happened, and I had to put a security document from Google who verified that I am the owner of the YouTube account and the domain. Then they asked me to put the JSON file there for the public, that this is a verified domain owner and YouTube channel owner. So I had to do that for my Google. Yeah, so Rosa says verified company. No, but a verified company, I've gone through that too when we were requesting security certificate. So verified company was also done, and they verify by going to some yellowpages.com or some other official site, and if our address is mentioned there, then they say that okay, we verified you, so you are there publicly available doing interaction with public. Anyway, so I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to click update wherever it lets however far it lets us go. And oh man, okay, I need to get this tab and go to the domain. Oh, I need to go to admin center. This is the domain, right? And it is .info. Wow, I am having some good DNS issues for my domain. Okay, so organization name and trusted domain is here. Revenue must be given okay. I have to create some more records then. Slash. And this is master 5.1. So suppose this is master 5.1. Name only contain alphanumeric characters, cannot be spaces. Okay, and then I'm just doing select keys, but I haven't created a keyword. So select keys. It says that choose a subscription, which is attached with the credit card, and subscription. We will be doing that when we attach the credit card once in Azure. At that time, we will have only 30 days to test, though that course will also go long. But create a new keyword. When we click that, that's going to take us to Azure, and it's going to ask, hey, create a subscription, and then create a keyword. So basically what we can take out from here is that a SaaS-based product like Azure Active Directory is going to use Azure Infrastructure as a Service, and it's going to actually verify our domain, and that document would be publicly available that, hey, this domain is verified and I'm the owner when the application connects to that domain as well. So it's going to also, application's credentials will also be saved in the key vault, and the domain would also be verified. So verified application plus verified domain makes a very secure connection. That's the overall idea behind that. But I have to still come up with a lab for that, although Microsoft has given you some step-by-step. But this seems like, I need to have an Azure paid subscription because I cannot have a free subscription. I've already created that a million times. So Microsoft will not let me create a free subscription now. So yeah, the verified ID is just that your application's credentials are verified and your domain is verified. That's how far we can go. But other than that, and you need to use a key vault as well. And key vaults are supposed to be secure, and obviously it saves your encryption and decryption keys as well. So other than that, there's permissions management that is also, try for free, buy now, launch. So permissions management is exactly what it says, management of permissions, right? And this is a very pain in the neck kind of thing. Permissions management is a very painful thing to go for, right? How is it painful? Now, I'm facing that issue in my company regularly, that some developer needs higher privileges on, uh, for some Azure resource. Yeah, so identity and access management, as I said in the chat, IAM, yes, IAM is one example of that. But permissions management is a separate service that Microsoft has added here. But it's all about the dilemma that I'm facing there is that some permissions management. So which user is supposed to have what least permission to be able to do his her tasks. So that's a big dilemma, right? It's a pain in the neck. Yeah, RBAC through RBAC, Women's is RBAC, role-based access control. So we can give permissions through RBAC, but who defines what permissions are supposed to be given to, suppose, a developer, a business analyst, for which resource? So that is defining that is a pain in the neck. And in our company, we are still stuck with that. Some of the permissions that I wanted to give least amount of permissions with which the users can do their job. So I connected to a business analyst, and he was connecting through to Azure resources, and there were so many permissions given to him by previous administrators. So I had to ask him for 1 hour time, and then I started removing roles for that business analyst. So if I go here and identity and then users, like protections, hey, where are the roles? Man, oh yeah, there's roles and admins. So that business analysts, not that one, many business analysts had this role, application administrator, which is the very top role in it. And users can play with applications, they can delete applications as well. Exactly. Reza says, do we use zero trust model here? We are supposed to use zero trust model, and that's where every company is trying to go, but it's not that easy. You cannot uh, affect productivity while having zero trust as well, or obviously you have to conduct a lot of hit and trial and experiment. Obviously follow some documentation and first test the whole thing, that will your developers be uh, spending more time uh, you know confirming their credentials and then doing their tasks, and will that be kind of unproductive for the company while staying very, very secure as well, right? So anyway, what I was saying was business analyst had application administrator. There were so many high privileges that were given to that. So I had to remove the application administrator while the business analyst was online. Then I said, okay, do your tasks what you do every day. And he confirmed that, yes, I'm able to do that. So I removed it. Then I went for some other administrator privileges that he had. One of the privileges that I removed, then he was not able to do his task. So I had to then put that back again. Then I knew that, okay, this is the least I have to give to that guy to do whatever task he was doing, and he lined up those tasks as well. But I had to remove all the high privileges from the business analyst because they were not supposed to have it, but some previous administrator had, just didn't put a lot of effort and just gave them those privileges, assigned those privileges to that guy. So the thing is that, you have to really work hard if you're a administrator there, infrastructure admin, that you cannot just assign roles according to, um, whatever they say. Now, this is on Friday. This Friday, actually, one user asked me to give that user highest privilege in DevOps. So DevOps, well, DevOps is also an application. I think it opens like this. So yeah, DevOps framework. No, DevOps, Microsoft DevOps. So so he wanted to create a project there, and Azure.microsoft.com DevOps. Okay. Azure DevOps Services, and start free and connect with GitHub. Oh yeah, login.apex.dev.azure.com. Okay, so anyway, the thing is that, yeah, we can create DevOps services here as well. And thing is that that guy was asking that he be given top privileges on that application. and he was saying that his director has approved him. I know that he is a communications department guy. He's not even a technical guy, and his boss is also the same like him. uh, they're not. They're both non-technical. They're not. They don't even belong to IT department. They're asking for highest privileges on an application here. So I told him that, hey, I need to get approval from my director as well. Otherwise, or normally he said that he insisted, hey, I paid a ticket. I have approval from my director. So I said, no, that's not enough. I'm gonna ask for my director as well. And then obviously we can't just give anyone who comes our way, oh, my director approved. Yeah, you're right. As if that director also, he's a non-technical guy. Why should we give? So he followed the rules, but you are the administrator. You have a big stop sign with you, and you're gonna say stop. You are not getting it that easy. The highest privileges on DevOps. I will do this. I will do that. Yeah, the thing is that you can't just let anyone. You have to know the least amount of privileges a user should have, and not what the user wants to have. Any user would want to have highest privileges, even the ones they don't need. And sometimes they don't know that they don't need that, and very few times they actually know that they don't need that, but hey, it's going to be fun having more privileges. I'll try other things as well. So you have to be the villain of that company, and you have to really say stop. It doesn't work that way. Whatever you want, you won't get it here, right? So otherwise you're going to be in trouble. So anyway, the thing is that permissions management is there to manage permissions. So if I click try for free, I just click the try button, and then it says you're signed with blah blah blah. This account already exists with another Microsoft service. Continue purchase. Oops. Microsoft Entra Permissions Management trial for your organization. Account instead. Hey, I don't want to purchase that. Start your 45-day trial today. So I need to have a trial. Check out, confirm your order, Microsoft Entra Permissions trial, 45 days subscription, 100 licenses. We're checking to make sure we can offer you Microsoft products and services. To start a new trial, you must provide a valid sold to address or registration number on your billing account. Ouch. No, I'm gonna try now. No. Okay. I ain't going that way. Yeah, this is the address. Use it. Honolulu. Yes, US. Sold to address. Okay. Yeah, they're not gonna fall for that. I know. But yeah, they're not letting me create that because we've already enjoyed all the free stuff from DevOps account, right? Or launch portal. I'm just gonna go for launch portal. Rather says your job is to follow CIA model. Exactly, for permissions, and you can give the abbreviation for CIA as well. So CIA model is actually about CIA model. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability, right? So that is CIA triad. The three letters: confidentiality, integrity, or central intelligence service. It's not that, but it's confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So that's what you have to follow exactly. You're right, Riza. And that's so you have to put a stop to whoever asks whatever, right? So we can't just give like this permissions. So anyway, when I click that launch portal button here, Entra, so to use Entra permissions management, you need to have a free 45-day trial or paid license. You can sign up for free 45-day trial here. Or if your trial has expired, you can purchase licenses here. I think they are not gonna let me do that. Oh, it's again back. Or I can create a new account. Seriously, going that way? Which account do you want to use? That's the one, man. So permissions management is all about permissions, managing permissions, and I have already like, oh man, that's going to be a pretty long process. So learn how to secure your multi-cloud permissions and watch video, launch interactive demo. But what does it do? Permissions management. So zero trust is a security strategy used to design security principles for your organization. Zero trust helps secure corporate resources by implementing following security principles. Verify explicitly, use least privilege access, and assume breach. Wow. Assume breach. That is good. Like always assume that you're under attack. You are already attacked, right? So when you're under attack, what do? You really, really secure everything. You change passwords of people, and you take all kinds of necessary security, actions right away. So verify explicitly, like give it your best shot to verify is this user who he or she says he or she is. Use these privilege. Now this is something that requires really hard work, and you have to create some standards there that if BA is there, business analyst is there, give this privilege, that's it. And if developer is there, give this privilege, that's it. And so on, right? So zero trust security, verify explicitly, Microsoft Entra ID, Azure ID, use these privileges access, permissions management. That's where permissions management really shows that how to give uh, least privileges access. Assume breach, that is Microsoft Defender. Wow, Microsoft Defender is actually very good in alerting us. So there was a recent attack. It's not an attack. Our one of the employee actually clicked the wrong URL by mistake. She knew that it was something that she's not supposed to click, and when she was closing the screen, she clicked it. so, so as soon as she clicked it, an attack happened within 5 minutes of that, and somebody was trying to connect to her account repeatedly, and she was getting multi-factor authentication messages on her cell phone. And so she had opened a back door to her PC, and somebody was just trying to get access, get access, get access, get access. So it was a live attack going on, and we had to close it, and we had to shut down the PC. We had to change our password, and secure her data. So we did a lot of stuff there, right? Now, use this privilege access and Microsoft Defender. So Microsoft Defender really gave us a lot of alerts there that there's a live attack going on, and then it recommended us also many actions to do. So that's very good. But for long-term, permissions management is a very, very important and really pain in the neck kind of task. Verify explicitly, that is Entra ID, Azure Active Directory. Make sure the details are there, right? So permissions management would be a very important kind of thing to do, and it's a pity that it's a shame that we don't have 45-day trial even available for us. Second thing is that um, second thing is that it's separately purchased. So you're already paying for expensive E5 Enterprise 5 license. Still, permissions management is a separate purchase. So that's also strange. It should be part of that whole mechanism. Microsoft, I think, just got a few months ago, one year ago, maybe 1.5 year ago, we purchased this from some company and added it here, permissions management. But yeah, so how about we? Yeah, I'll try to check that. I'll try to create an account during the week, hopefully, and then maybe try to create a lab for permission management. Otherwise, there are many videos where people have gone through all that pain to create an account and get 45-day trial, and then what to do. So I'll share those videos so at least you have an idea. But videos are here as well. Run risk-free assessment. Actually, Microsoft Defender does that already. Um, get granular multi-cloud visibility. So who gets what permissions? Wow, we really, really need that, man. And enforce the principle of least privilege. Really, 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 we need to do that regularly. Least privilege. Monitor for future permission risks, right? Monitor for future permission risks. So yeah, this is happening a lot, and we really need to get uh, the permissions management working better. But that's, I wish I could really spend that kind of time to really explore all this. Even in my company, I started a 45-day trial, and I couldn't get time to do that. There were so many things to do during the whole day, so I was not able to test it even in my company 45-day trial. Otherwise, yeah, I deployed it and started that 45-day trial. So I'll try to still go for a lab for that. It's permission structure. Work on permission structure is really, really important. So maybe next week, hopefully, I can create an account and then do a basic labs just to see that is it, not very, very long. So hopefully. So there is that permissions management. Then there is global secure access. This is in preview, so it's not really ready with all the features. But global secure access would be, obviously, as the name says, that activate the global secure access preview, which includes Microsoft Entra Internet Access and Microsoft Entra Private Access. So global secure access prerequisites, you have the required administrator role to activate the preview. You have the required license to start using global secure access. So a global secure access administrator, security administrator, or global administrator must be assigned to activate the global secure access in your tenant. To activate global secure access, click the activate button. Note activation will not impact any workload in your tenant. Okay, I'll click activate. It's now activated. To activate global secure access, click the activate button. Yeah, I did that. Get started with global secure access. Learn about global secure access and the next steps. So I'm just going to click get started here. It is the unifying term used for both Microsoft Entra Internet Access. So when you're connecting from anywhere in the globe to your Microsoft Active Directory, so you obviously have to connect through internet to the Active Directory. So how are you connecting? Is it secure connection? To get started with global secure access, follow these guides to set up some popular configuration. So there is Entra Internet Access and Entra Private Access. So by following these steps, you can use the first set of Internet Access for Microsoft 365 Big Preview features, including data exfiltration controls using universal tenant restriction, token theft protection using the compliant network check, improved performance, and increased visibility into Microsoft 365 Access. Internet access controls for all endpoints is in private preview. So private access is just from a laptop, but it saves you from data exfiltration controls using universal tenant restriction. So anyone who wants to access the data that your company has in SharePoint or any other application has to go through some strict tenant policies. The verification of the user who is trying to connect to our data will be done over the internet, like from the internet who's connecting. Token theft just means that there's authentication token, and user John is connecting to Azure Active Directory, and user Bob actually disconnected John, and then just stolen the token, authentication token that user John has initiated, and user Bob poses as user John and tries to connect to the environment. So this can happen as well with smart hackers. Well, they can do that, and so that's why. And Microsoft, after knowing that this could happen, they have some security controls available to check that if is it actually the user or is it somebody posing as our employee, and improve performance and increase visibility into Microsoft Azure. So this is what global secure access is. Then there is private access. By following these steps, you can allow users to access apps in your private network from anywhere. Access can quickly be granted to all apps within a specified IP range to accelerate deployment and reduce the need for using VPNs that grant unlimited access to the entire corporate network. So you're saying that, hey, just give me your IP range or IP that you're connecting from. Suppose you've gone to vacation to Germany, and from Munich you're connecting, and well, the private IP from where you're connecting, you need to provide that, and we will add the private IP, and then you can connect to that resource. So that's private access, right? So pretty much standard stuff there. Nothing very complicated. Install the client to access Microsoft Web. So that's a good thing that if you have a client, then you can connect. Otherwise, you can't. Microsoft Internet Access isolates the traffic for Microsoft Web applications and resources, such as Exchange Online and SharePoint Online. So Microsoft Intra Access isolates the traffic for Microsoft 365 applications and resources. So the traffic will be isolated and protected. Users can access these resources, which is Exchange Online and SharePoint, which is mostly used by every employee. Resources by connecting to the global secure access client or through a remote network, such as in a branch office. In branch, okay, the connection is secure, right? But when you're connecting from anywhere else, then you have to have a secure access client. Okay, so Rosa says, when you add this subscription, make a video for the, yeah, sure, we'll do, definitely. I'll try to take out time to create that. Okay, so install the client to access Microsoft 365 traffic. Now, we used to not have this, and still it's in preview. And, our employees, they go on vacation, and before they go to vacation, they say that, okay, suppose I'm going to be connecting from Hawaii, and is it secure to connect? And I have read in Microsoft documentation that SaaS products are okay to connect from anywhere in the world through internet. Now they are coming up with this Microsoft Internet Access. This means that even their SaaS products should be connecting through a secure client, right? So that's what Microsoft says. Does the Exchange starts today? Yes, Exchange, because after the break we're gonna start Microsoft Exchange. Okay, so this is enable the Microsoft 365 traffic forwarding profile, install and configure the global secure access client on end user devices, enable universal tenant restrictions, enable enhanced global secure access signaling. Wow. Okay, so it's in preview, but that's a very good sign that Microsoft has taken seriously the access to SaaS applications as well, right? Their SaaS products are supposed to be connected through secure client, not just from internet. And now Microsoft is taking it seriously, which is very, very good news. After you complete these 4 steps, users with the Global Secure Access client installed on their Windows device. So if the client is installed, after we do this, if the client is installed on the laptop, can securely access Microsoft 365 resources from anywhere. The user's source IP address appears in the traffic logs for Microsoft Internet Access. So create a remote network, apply conditional access, and review the logs. So they say that you have to go through certain processes there, configure quick access to your primary private resources. They need to know your IP, but you have to configure these things. Now, this is also, once it is out of the preview, we must do this lab. It's very, very important to implement the global secure access first thing. Second thing, it's very important for the interview as well, right? So what is global secure access? So even the SaaS products, software as a service products, are going to be secured by a secure Microsoft client onwards, right? Okay, so James says, how about if they access apps from phones? So the client should be, I'm assuming, because it's still, see this installed Windows client. Global Secure Access Client for Windows preview. It's still in preview, so we can't say, but it's just for Windows for now. But it should be for iOS and Android as well very soon. But yes, this means that they don't have yet for, okay, you know what, Control F and iOS, nope, Android. No, no mention of that. Oh, remote networks, access control, software, private access. They haven't created that for cell phones, so yeah, this means it's still a risk to connect who are connecting from cell phones. But if we are connecting from Windows, then you can see the clients showing here. Excuse me. If I go down to global secure access and oh, they're gonna clients here, devices, and then there's a down client. To tunnel end user device network traffic to global secure access, you need to download and install the global secure access client. The installation can be interactive or silent. The client is currently available for Windows. Client versions for Android, iOS, and macOS will be released in the coming months. To ensure you have the latest features and improvements, check this page frequently. There you go. Okay, so it's now available for Windows 10 and 11. To install the global secure access client, download the installation, and if I click the download client, quickly pick up where you left off. Okay, there's a client. Global secure access client says there. Yeah, for now it's for Windows devices, but it's coming. That's why it says it's in preview because one level. So global secure access client licensed under the usual software, blah blah blah. I agree. Install. Yes. Oh no, don't do that. Okay. So it's account. That's my username. Oh, okay. So it's not gonna work. It's asking me admin permissions. Okay, so I gave the user privileges now. So it's just for Windows 10 and 11. But the main point here is that we should not be assuming that SaaS products are totally safe to connect from anywhere across the planet from over the internet. And companies should put an extra security tunnel between the laptop and the SaaS products like SharePoint and others. Showing here. You're kidding. Did I not just install it? Okay. So it was global secure access client. Where's the actual client? Global secure access client. Client. Is there any application like that? Oh, the client. Moving. Global secure access client. Hey, I just installed it. Where is it? Global. That's not it. So I installed an app and it's not showing. That's why it is on preview. Okay, so I installed it somewhere in my really that sucks. All apps. Microsoft, maybe it's in the Microsoft folder. M Office tool. It's like a VPN software, I guess. Transit API. It's like a VPN software, yeah. It's just creating a secure tunnel from the laptop to the SaaS products that we are accessing, like already installed products. It should be in G then. on. That sucks. That very much sucks. What are you trying to do? I just installed an application that is lost in my computer. What kind of technology is this? Okay, anyway, let's not waste time. That is ridiculous. Ah, okay. It won't appear when user logs in, then it won't. Okay, so yeah, then it could be, it's not a client as a client. But yeah, this needs to be explored a bit more. Complete the onboarding form to let Microsoft know which tenant to onboard. Go to onboarding form, remote network, enable admins to define and configure remote network locations. Yeah, okay. Sure. So we're gonna try to check that and dashboard. Yeah, I haven't gone through the procedure as well. It's just preview, but just wanted to explore enough. Secure access and improve visibility to the internet, Microsoft 365 SaaS and private apps. Okay. The network snapshot, blah, blah, blah. Nothing here. Okay. We haven't used it, so nothing will appear here. And get started. It's here. Okay. Oh, there's WhatsApp here. In the WhatsApp, Jamin has shared something. So I'll just share here. Global Secure Access Tester client, Global Secure Access client, connected to Windows and .pro. Okay, so yeah, it should then. Oh, it's pick an account. Okay, pick an account. So it's kind of go to accounts, account protection, system settings. Sorry guys, just one more. Settings, accounts, your info, email and accounts. So it's not going to show as is, but it's going to pop up as a security, uh, you know, uh, procedure that hey, you're connecting now securely to the Windows app. Oh, yeah, sure. It's not still credited as an account, but it's going to just show like that. Okay. So yeah, when it's really not in preview and it's available properly to be, used, then so that you okay. So Jimin says it will appear only when users sign in through web browser, and that he wants to connect via global secure access. Yeah. So the whole lab has to be created for that, and then you can privately access. But it's going to be very interesting once it is, you know, implemented or it's out of the preview. So yes, the permissions management is one lab that I need to check on, and obviously there are many videos out there where they have implemented that, but yet when we implement ourselves, that's always the best part. So this permissions management is something that needs to be really tested, right? So permissions management needs to be tested. So I'm just gonna put it here and let's take a break and then start Exchange Online. Yay! Okay. So permissions management. This needs to be tested. Okay, guys. So let's take a break and come back and then start the Exchange. All right, guys. So let's get going. Oh, okay. So what we need to do is okay, starting Exchange. Okay, so recording has started, and this would be. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah. This would be another slide, right? I'll quietly go for this. Okay. So what we need to do here is, yeah, we're still connecting to this environment. Yeah, some explanation of download Windows 11. And with that, we can install now. Password right back. Let's keep scrolling. Loaded, done. Here we will. Let's go to go. Says labs, break for 80 features. So that's where we were. Didn't know. And now we need to go for um, exchange. Okay, so here, first of all, slides. Okay, so exchange online is this is for email collaboration. Just email collaboration. So yeah, email company email management, monitoring, and security. Um, so email is the core or slash backbone of a company business, right? So in that case, it needs to be secured. Uh, Mailboxes need to be managed properly. Excuse me. So managed, and you know, uh, and overall and domain security should be taken care of. Now, for this, we will be covering online exchange. Uh, so what happens is in some companies, but there are companies with exchange application installed on premises as well, which is connected to exchange online um, for the purpose of uh, phased migration from on-prem email management to cloud. Well, just like Azure Active Directory, there was a connection between, if I go for a diagram here, so that would be pretty much the same way that we were talking about Azure AD Connect as well. It's not as easy to implement that on-premises Exchange connectivity to cloud. In fact, it's pretty overwhelming. But what happens is that you have Azure AD, Azure Active Directory, and that Azure Active Directory. Oh, sorry. Now I'm going to switch to Microsoft 365 services, where obviously we had talked about Azure AD. And now we're talking about Exchange Online, which is a SaaS product. So it's already installed. You don't need to install it. It's already working. You just need to log in and pay per month per user. And depends on different licenses as well. So Exchange Online, there is SharePoint Online, there is Teams Online, and there is Intune. MDM mobile device management online, and then finally, obviously, we're going to go for Azure IaaS. Wow, what is going on here? Anyway, so we're on the second one now, but obviously, this is all about email management and all the mailbox management, and obviously the whole business revolves around that the emails are being sent and received properly. Suppose a user, your company is bidding in a huge project, and if you get that project, your company could get millions and millions of dollars of profit. And it comes down to that a user Bob is sending a critical code in an email to the client, and all other companies are sending final codes that how they will what they will charge for a huge project. But that email that Bob sent actually either did not end up on client's mailbox, in client's mailbox, but also either it was delayed, right, or did not end up, or did not reach. Seriously, yeah, did not reach at all to the client. So in that case, obviously the company missed a huge uh, project and lots of profit. So sometimes it comes down to email actually saving your company, and reaching the email in time would really get you a huge business. And if it's not on time reaching, so whose fault it is, you have to figure that out. But that would cause your company to really not progress, and sometimes go down financially because of lack of performance, because of the lack of projects. So thing is that you have to make sure that the email really is up to date in terms of its all the patches. The Exchange server patches basically are handled by Microsoft, but you have to be very careful still. There are so many features that you have to configure properly, and Microsoft does not have everything configured for you. But what does work right away when you open an Exchange online? So okay, that I will mention in the when we open Exchange online, the mail flow, the inbound and outbound mail flow is already working. So that used to be not the case when we used to deploy the Exchange server. So there's that Active Directory on premises, then there's an Exchange server. I used to teach Exchange server on premises as well. What a pain. So that is the Active Directory here, and there is Exchange server, Exchange on-prem, right? So that was just Exchange server. So you would have a hardware or a virtual machine, you would install an operating system, server operating system there, Windows 2012 or Windows 2016, and then install the Exchange server 2013, 2016 version of that. And so it would locally enable the email. All the mailboxes of the users would be here, and all the user accounts and passwords are here in Active Directory. And then you have to connect it to internet, and then incoming, outgoing email would be connected, and then users would be able to receive email and send email to outside of the organization as well. So you have to configure the inbound, outbound mail flow, but that is already configured here. So inbound and outbound mail flow. Is already configured, right? So this means that a big stress is gone from the administrators, taken away from administrators, because the email is already working. So we're going to check that out as well. Also, we need to put a client. Now we're going to be using our Windows 11 as well. We have multiple client versions here. There is a web client, so Outlook. So that's called web client, which is Outlook accessed via browser. And then there is a web client, Outlook accessed via browser. And then there is also installed MS Office Outlook, right? That is connected to online exchange. So through various clients, we can configure and use the Outlook, which actually receives and you can receive and send email through that. But the clients are there. This is Windows 11 or 10, Windows 10/11, right? Windows. All right. So first thing is inbound, outbound email mail flow is working fine. But here you had to, on premises, you had to configure that manually, the inbound, outbound mail flow. But here it is there. Second thing is, obviously, you would have to patch on premises manually, installing all the latest updates and restarting the server, and brace for if the server does not restart. But that patching is also automatically done in Exchange Online by Microsoft. Uh, but well, although many of the things that Microsoft has taken over and are managing for you, Microsoft is managing for you, but there's a huge amount of features that we still have to check out and configure. So what we need to do then is so when we open Exchange Online, the inbound, outbound mail flow is already working. We need to test it. Okay, one thing, we will open our web client or Outlook Web Access. We can say Outlook Web Client. So we can call it that as well, or Outlook Web Access, and check the mail flow. Mail flow to internet, to and from internet, right? So environment, so to slash from internet. Second thing is that we're so patching for Exchange Online is already done by Microsoft. So this is also one more worry that we don't have to have. We will be exploring. So we will explore all the features of Exchange Online, right? So let's open it and explore. So this would be the first thing is check mail flow. Let's do that quickly. And then next would be Exchange Online features that we will be going through. So let's open, yeah, what I just said, web client and in the browser and check mail flow. So let's do that. Now, first of all, obviously, we will have to go to, where's the box on fire? Yeah, there it is. Firefox, and I'm gonna go for the admin center, Microsoft 365 admin center, and then I'll go further down. There's Exchange here, right? So in admin center we have Exchange. Wow, where's my snag? Okay, so maybe I have to put picture here with red. ONK. All right, so I'm gonna go here and click Exchange, and then once we open the Exchange Online, so it's a new tab here that opens. I'll just close everything. So, yeah. And one day, Monday or Sunday is gonna open, so that's Exchange Online. Next, yeah, keep me signed in. Now, learn about the new menu. Yeah, so this is mail flow here. It's showing, but yeah, not exactly what we are about to do now. That what I'm calling mail flow, but this mail flow has a lot of interesting features. This is just introduction that when we open tab. So if I click next here, it shows that there are roles here, permissions. So obviously an Exchange administrator, you can't just make the desktop support as Exchange administrator as well. So what are the roles on different levels of Exchange management? So we'll be going through roles as well. Then if we go for next, there are some in organization, we're displaying the classic Exchange admin center. So the previous version of online Exchange, we can access from here as well. For some features here, as we continue work on updated features. So some of the features of Exchange Online may still be in the older classic version of Exchange Online, and we need to uh, then move back to explore those features. But otherwise, a newer interface here would already be showing Exchange Server online features. So if I go further, so there's that classic Exchange if you want to ever switch back to that. So this is there. I'm just gonna click finish now. So this is Exchange Admin Center. I'm gonna click home here, and obviously home has all the dashboards here for us. And as we try to configure more, it's going to show, or we can be adding more dashboards here as well. So, well, these are just some of the basic configurations there that may or may not be configured. Exchange Online new REST module, REST-backed PowerShell commandlets for Exchange Online management are now released. There are more secure and reliable. These are more secure and reliable as compared to remote PowerShell commandlets. So there are, Cloud Shell also available. There's Cloud Shell available here as well. And so okay, my bird. It's lovebird and it's trying to love, but I'm just kicking it out. Get out of here. Okay, anyway, so yeah, so the command, some of the PowerShell commandlets, we're going to be trying to use some of the Exchange PowerShell commandlets as well, but it can be configured, you know, uh, so those PowerShell commandlets can be, run from here as well, Cloud Shell. Then there are training for admins here, training and guides, web service documentation. Auto forward, you may know already that you can configure that feature that whatever email you receive can be forwarded to some other mailbox as well. So this is kind of security. It's not kind of, it is security loophole. And once, well, way back, I was in Scotiabank in the Microsoft team, an exchange administrator. So uh, one of the employee of the bank, actually more than one, were caught forwarding all the bank emails to their private Gmail account. So they were then given strict warning, and the auto forward function was disabled for them. So yes, if you're auto forwarding, obviously there has to be proper approval, and it's going to show in the dashboard that how many users have configured auto forwarding. So that's very good dashboard, monitoring for this such critical. So the data would automatically be going out of your organization to some private mailbox, which is not really good. Mailboxes, then there's manage email forwarding, add a shared mailbox. We're going to be creating all that, hide from address list, any mailbox you want to hide, edit a mailbox. Then there are 25 inbound messages already. So some messages already have arrived there. Latest 5 batches. So this is just if you have migrated any of the mailboxes. So it would just say that normally we migrate. Suppose there are 10,000 user mailboxes in your Toronto branch Exchange server. So you would migrate those mailboxes in batches. So it's just saying that dashboard showing that if it was configured, and promote safe communications across channels. So communication compliance offers many exchange mail flow, journaling, and DLP capabilities in one solution that helps minimize communication risks beyond just email. So um, that is compliance, and compliance is a big part of email so management. So obviously we're going to be going for compliance as well. Let's get back to what we were doing. So there's home, and we saw the dashboards. Now we can go to the these 9 dots here on Exchange, and then once we click that, and I have to convince that I click okay, and then there's Outlook here, right? So that is web Outlook or Outlook inside the browser, from where we can check our emails. So I'm just gonna click that Outlook. It's gonna open now. I think I have to oh no, it's here. So anyway, Outlook is open, and I have some emails already going on for whatever activities I was doing in the Azure Active Directory. But I need to check mail flow to and from internet, right? Inbound, outbound email. So I'm just gonna go to new email. I'm just gonna send an email to my Gmail account, itguy@gmail.com, and just put here test. Please reply to this test email. I just put there something, and is Exchange Online already working or not? So I'm just gonna click send. And on the other side, I'm going to be checking that on my Gmail that is open in my other screen. So on the other side, okay, so I am checking if the email arrived or not. What? Hey, where's my email? It's supposed to be in updates. Anyone else receive it? Promotions, insert access, and soon. Blah, blah, blah. I'm reading all the advertisements as well. Okay, so if I go for junk mail spam in Gmail, oh, it's in junk. Okay, so I'll just tell it it's not spam. Not spam. Okay, now it's going to. So it was in my spam folder in my Gmail. I'll just click that. Okay, so I'm just going to reply back there. On the screen, I'm doing that right now. test testing back. I'm just typing there and sending from there. So mail flow, also you should check the speed of the mail flow as well. So emails going out of your organization, how long does it take? And from outside to inside, I just sent back from Gmail an email and it should be arriving here one day, Monday or Sunday. Okay. So I'm just gonna refresh this browser and font size. So this is, oh, I didn't upgrade that. Thanks. Okay. Oh, there you go. So it took me like 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds for the email to arrive from Gmail to your Exchange Outlook, right? So it had gone through the Exchange and sent it through Microsoft infrastructure, and then it reached there. So Mailflow is working fine as far as the Mailflow is concerned. So I'm just going to go back to the Exchange here, and then we have talked about home. There is recipients section here, which has mailboxes, groups, resources, contacts, and then there is mailflow. So if I go for mailboxes here, so it's gonna load it one day, Monday or Sunday. Yep, there you go. So here we have a lot of mailboxes. Yeah, 20 mailboxes here, right? And if I want to check how many users, total users I have, so I'm going to go to admin center here, and then I'm going to identity here. Well, why am I going to identity? I could have checked from admin center as well. Okay, that's taking forever. So how many users do I have in the actual active direct and Tori? So remember that we synchronize users from on-premises Windows Server 2022. So those who were able to do that successfully, I was somehow my environment was having some issue. So you should be seeing here 390 users, right? 390. But instead, overall, I'm seeing here 24 users only, right? But okay, so if there are 24 users here, I still see here 20 users, right? So why are the 4 users not showing here in Exchange Admin Center mailboxes while they are showing here in Azure Active Directory? There are 24 users. Why is it showing 20 users mailboxes here? Anyone knows the reason? There's a reason for that, right? Anyone knows the reason why here in Exchange Server 20 mailboxes are showing while in Azure Active Directory there are 24 users showing? Where are the other 4 users mailboxes? Why are they not being shown here? Anyone knows a reason for that?
They are logged in for the first time on
It's
their
a very
Outlook.
easy reason.
Hello.
Because users may not have mailbox configured. Sandeep says. Okay, anyone else? Like, okay, then the question is how to configure the mailbox for those 4 users. And I didn't configure any mailbox actually. I didn't configure any mailbox for anyone. So there are still 20 mailboxes here. This is the first time I'm connecting here, right? So there are still 20 mailboxes. Who configured those? James says because they have open Outlook for the first time. Come on, man. I never opened Outlook for any of these users, and their mailboxes are still here. They are private contractors. Raza says they are private contractors. No, that's not the reason why the mailboxes are created here. Who created the mailboxes? That's the question. who created Justin Bieber account I created in last class, I guess, or the class previous than last class. His mailbox is here as well. I never came to Exchange Admin Center and created their mailboxes. Who created these mailboxes? Megan Bowen never logged into Outlook. Lane Robbins, yes, that no, I don't remember logging into a yeah, I do remember logging into a mailbox, but that's not the reason why the mailbox is there. Lee Wu, I never logged into majority of the users' mailboxes, just one or two users. How come they're Jamin says the magic word. They have license. So guys, when you create a new account, so now we're gonna be creating a new account. So if I go for active users here, contacts, this is admin center now, right? Admin center. And I'm in the active users. So it's all about the license. And I create an add user, and then I name the user as Donald Trump, and the display name is this, and it's Donald Trump, right? And yeah, I'm not gonna require to change the password, so I'm just gonna click next. So when you assign this license, E5, 445 left now. So there are apps, 62 apps here, right? So you should be noticing here this Exchange Online Plan 2. Subscribe V5 developer without Windows and audio conferencing, but Exchange Online Plan 2, if this license is there, you get a mailbox. So if I uncheck that, now you don't have a mailbox. Check that, now you have a mailbox. So if all were checked for the users that were there, then yes, they had the Exchange Online. Then they had the mailbox already, right? It's all about license. So Exchange Online, if I see somewhere here anything else related to Exchange, what if it was there, it would have been up there with the Exchange Online, right? So Exchange Online Plan 2 is configured here, and these are 62 apps, but yeah, that's it. So it's all about the license again, right? Okay, so this is configured. I'm gonna click next here, and it's a end user, so I'm not adding anything else, no roles here. But if I go to roles, and I suppose Donald Trump was hired as an exchange administrator, so I would go here and simply select this option, and he would be able to configure anything across the Exchange Online enterprise application. If I do this, Exchange administrator only, right? Otherwise, if I uncheck that, he's just a end user with a Outlook client access, Outlook client mailbox access, right? So, well, I've just clicked it and I'm clicking Exchange Administrator. So Trump is now administrator as well. So since he's not going to become president now because of, well, if you're watching the news, so maybe he could learn this skill and become an Exchange Administrator. So finish adding, and that's it. So yeah, that's the username password. I don't need to log into this guy and close, but now he should be appearing, this mailbox should be appearing in Exchange Admin Center. I created that in the my M365 Admin Center with, but I provide the license. That's the only that is there. And now I'm just gonna refresh this Exchange Admin Center. This one, refresh, and refresh, right? So Diego. So Donald Trump is not here. So one day, Monday or Sunday, he is the mailbox will appear here. So groups and then mailboxes. And still not here. Maybe he's in Trump T. No. Okay. Yeah, it takes time for the mailbox to be created. And one day, Monday or Sunday, he's gonna be here. And recipients, home, mailboxes, and yeah, there we go. Now the mailbox, user mailbox is here. right? Okay, so yes, there are those users. So now we have 21 items here. Still 4 users in Active Directory does not have a mailbox because uh, they don't have a license assigned to them. That's the only thing. Okay, so that point cleared. In order to check mail flow is done. Okay, um, and then online features. Um, if we can give a user a mailbox assigning the license with exchange plan to check to the user. Okay, so that's clear. And if you go back here, so in the mailboxes, we have then a lot of mailboxes here, and there's an add a shared mailbox, there's a mail flow setting here, refresh, export mailboxes as well, that you want to have a list of how many mailboxes are there. Now, if we go for the first mailbox here, Adele Vance mailbox, so you would see general contact information, first name, last name, display name, and everything. Manage contact information, hide from global address list, GAL. So what is that? It's no, right? But when we click that, so this Adele is coming, this name is coming in the global address list. So what is the global address list and where do you see that? So if I go to Outlook for web here, so when we create a new email here and we're trying to type the name, we can just go to here and to opens up contact list or also global address list here, loading contact list here. Obviously, you want to search. Suppose there are 50,000 users, employees here. They all have mailboxes. So that's the long list. And you want to send email to 15 separate users. So you would go through the whole contact list here. There is that global address list offline showing there, but the word and default global address list is one, right? So Adele name is there in the global address list. Obviously, you want to, if anyone wants to email Adele, so he or she would be coming here, check to, and then go to contacts or global address list, and then search her name, and then add her name like this, add it, and then save. So the name here comes, and then test and oops, test, right? 10. Okay, so that is you know the global address list access. But if I go back to this and apply changes to one second, hide from address list, and I turn it on. So what I'm trying to do is I'm hiding this name, so nobody should be able to. Suppose CEO says that okay, I receive a lot of emails. My name should not be in the global address list, or some contractors that are there and other users should not be contacting those outsiders. So in that case, you may want to hide that. So if you click the hide button and save, it will implement one day, Monday or Sunday, but it takes a bit of time. Refresh here, and then you refresh, go to Outlook, right? Outlook for web, and refresh here as well. And then go to new email, and then go to, and then go to global address, and our name is gone. It implemented right away. So you can hide that name from global address list for whatever reason, and approvals should be there, obviously, for that. And I'm going to go back and unhide that because then we wouldn't use his name for any other labs. So I'm going to go for manage hide from gal and just simply turn it on. ONK. Now, this is if I still click the mailbox, there are many other features here. And email address is this email address type. If I go there, manage email address type, so there's SIP for uh, uh, the teams calling, conferencing and meeting calling. So for that, SIP address is needed. SMTP is just simple mail transfer protocol. So obviously this is the main address to which people can send email. And then there is SPO, which is for SharePoint Online. There is an address also written here. So whatever you do in SharePoint, or you want to, somebody's sharing some folder with you. So the email, when they click share, so that share email or invitation to that folder in SharePoint goes to your email. So the SharePoint email connectivity, for that you need this address as well in the background. So we don't normally really change that. Then there are, in the general tab, we have mailbox usage, right? So that's 99 GB. Seriously? Wow. So you have a huge mailbox here. Why? I mean, basically it's supposed to be 50 GB mailbox. Why is it 99 GB? Anyone has a reason for that? It's not like it's supposed to be 99. There are 50 GB mailboxes as well, and 99 GB mailboxes as well. So what could be the reason for that? Anyone knows that? So Exchange Online, 50 GB mailbox license. Well, I just gave the reason, license, right? Well, without a license, shared mailboxes are limited to 50 GB. To increase the limit, size limit to 100 GB, the shared mailbox must be assigned an Exchange Online Plan 2 license. So you get 99 GB or 100 GB mailbox when you have Exchange Online Plan 2. And yeah, so other than that, if you have, how to increase 50 GB, so this is just that, but there's another license where Exchange Online Plan 1, I guess, is more than 10, or some mailbox size be more than 100 GB. Yeah, it could be. But I wanted to show you that E3 or E1 licenses also have like 50 GB mailboxes. So shared mailboxes, yeah, they would be 50 GB, but otherwise, so Exchange Online Plan 1, Exchange Online Plan 1. So if there is Exchange Online Plan 2, obviously there should be, what's the difference between Plan 1 and 2? So Exchange Online Plan 2 is a more advanced version of Plan 1. Apart from the features available in Exchange Online Plan 1, you get the ability to archive the content of your mailboxes in a local archive, unlimited mailbox storage space, and an ever higher standard of protection. Anyway, that's the Compare Exchange Online plans. If I just go there, because 50 GB is if you have 1 terabyte is for one drive. Jamin says 1 terabyte it's for one drive, but it's 100 GB mailbox. So this is Exchange Online Plan 1, Plan 2, and then there's Microsoft 365 Business Standard, where you keep getting, so 50 GB mailbox and custom. So Business Standard has 50 GB mailbox, right? Plan 2 have 100 GB mailbox, right? And a lot of other features. Plan 1 also has 50 GB mailbox with 150 and messages up to 150 MB. So it's all about the licenses that you will get the size. So that is, Exchange the size, mailbox size. The size of the mailbox depends on the Exchange Online Plan license purchased, right? But it also is the not just Exchange Online plan or other plan or other license purchase, right? So that would be the picture for that. And one day there will be a recommendation coming here. No? Okay. So I'll just make this picture small. Okay, so if I go back here, just wanted to show that why mailbox would be 99 GB, and you can see that it's actually uh, giving you this that how much of the mailbox has been used already, and what is the percentage of that, and when was the last logon. So this is important information. Suppose there's an investigation going on, or you're just checking who logged in to which mailbox at what time. So they do tell that when was the last login done. Then there is yeah, mobile phone is also showing there if you wanna email apps and mobile devices. So where can you open this mailbox, right? So manage email app settings if I go for that, or whatever the settings are there. So first of all, Outlook desktop, that is MAPI. MAPI is a protocol with which you can open that in the desktop. Exchange Web Services, this is what we have opened already. It is enabled. If I disable that, then we cannot open in the browser, this mailbox, right? And mobile, so Exchange Active Syncs. So then you can open this mailbox in your cell phone as well. IMAP and POP3 are if you have some low speed internet connection and you want to download whenever you connect, you want to download all the copies of the email, then IMAP and POP3 protocols are used for that. Outlook on the web, the older version of Outlook is also showing here. Outlook web app mailbox policy. There's a policy. We're going to be going and visiting policies as well later, but there's a default web app policy, which, what options you want to enable, what options you don't want to enable. So it's all about that. But what clients can be managed, you can disable enable. So you don't want some people to be downloading emails when they are remotely available, gone somewhere and are connecting remotely. So you can disable those POP3 IMAP protocols for those people. Or you don't want someone to use desktop version of Outlook. You can disable that, and that person can only use then browser-based email. So you can put all kinds of restrictions there. There's a manage mobile devices as well, and there's a policy there. So if you connect, so in your cell phone, we're going to be downloading later Outlook app here as well in our cell phones. And then we're going to be logging in from this mailbox, the current user. From this current user, we're going to be logging in from Outlook from our cell phones as well. So when you do log in, so it does show here as well that the user is using this particular cell phone and model, and this is the number, right? So we're going to be doing that too. But just showing you all the mailbox features here. If you go to organization, then so there's that department title manager, so all the stuff here. Delegation, very, very important. That's where you get all the tickets in the in the office that, hey, I need access to that person's mailbox, somebody else's mailbox, really. So there's a send as, there's a send on behalf, and read and manage. So anyone already knows what's the difference between send as and send on behalf? Aren't they both the same, or are they different? I think they're different. So yeah, send as and send on behalf difference is that if you add someone here, so Adele's mailbox, if I add my account here, yeah, so Raphael says on behalf is sending on behalf of a person. So what exactly that means still? And Raphael says send as it is. Okay. So send as that person exactly, and send on behalf of that person. So the difference is exactly as you said, but let me just elaborate that a bit more. So when you're sending user, so so Trump is sending email to Trudeau, right? So Trump sends email to Hopefully that's the correct spelling. Okay, so what happens is if now Trump is gone, uh, uh, Trump is gone on vacation, and Trump secretary secretary uh, is supposed to send email to Trudeau, uh, but but it should look like as Trump sent it, while it is being sent by his secretary. So this means that Trudeau would be thinking if the but it. So this means that Trudeau would receive the email, but it would look like as if Trump sent it. So the secretary becomes Trump, and the recipient of the email would never know that it's actually not from Trump. It's from his secretary. But when you add anyone in send as, so that is send as. So let me just put that here. Send as that person. So other person will never know that it's actually not from that person. It's actually from someone else. While send on behalf is what's going to be the opposite of that. That Trump secretary sends email to Trudeau, and Trudeau clearly sees that this email is being sent on behalf of Trump. So Trudeau, it's the title of the email that it's sent on behalf. So Trudeau knows clearly that it's sent from the secretary, right? On behalf of Trump. So Trump's approval is there. Yeah, proxy. Exactly. So send as would be no one would know that it's actually some other person who sent who's sending, but the recipient would see that Trump sent it. That's it, right? So that is send as. So then sort of have, and there's a third one here that is read and manage. Well, that's pretty much full access. That would be uh, read and manage. Somebody wants to manage someone else's mailbox. So some other person will have full access to the mailbox to read all emails and to make any configurational changes to the mailbox, right? So that would be read and manage. But uh, but it does not let the user send email from that mailbox that the user is managing. If this same user is not added to send as and or send on behalf. Any one of those, obviously, you would add send on behalf, right? So you have to add a user. Suppose you give a user read and manage access to the mailbox, and then user tries to actually send an email as well from that mailbox. So user won't be able to do that. User can only read and manage. So then the user complains that, hey, I want to send an email. So then you send the user, then you ask the user, hey, you don't want the recipient to know that it's not you. Then you will add that user to send as, or you want the recipient to know that it is you sending on behalf of someone else. Then you can add that user to send on behalf, right? So that's the differences between these options, and this is something that you should clearly know because it's asked in the interview. Plus, a ticket there's always a ticket for that. One or some manager is asking access to a employee's mailbox who has left the organization. So difference between send as, send on behalf, and read, access, read and manage access, read manage access, right? So so when you add somebody here, you just have to be careful what you're doing, because this could go really against you, right? Okay, so Raza says, please explain the last point. So last point is this read and manage. So this means that the user can read, so Trump can read Trudeau's mailbox. Suppose Trump was given access to Trudeau's mailbox, right? Only this option was used. And we went to Trudeau's mailbox. We added Trump only for this, which, how do you do that? You just go to read and manage, click edit, and then add the other user here, right? So what happens is that user, Trump, who has read and manage access to Trudeau's mailbox, he can only read all the emails of Trudeau. He can make changes to the Outlook mailbox of Trudeau. What does that mean? You can go there and you can create another folder here, suppose, right? Suppose there's an empty folder, you can just create a new subfolder and name it sales DEPT, right? You're making a change now. So having access, you can make changes, you can create a group here as well, you can delete emails of that user, you can do a lot of stuff here, right? So that is what Trump can do. But what Trump cannot do is, if Trump was only added to Trudeau's mailbox with read and manage, so Trump cannot send email to anyone from Trudeau's mailbox. So if Trump was added to read and manage and send as well, then Trump can not only read and manage the mailbox, but can send as well. So just adding here does not let him send an email. You have to add him here and here as well. That was the main point there, right? O and K. Hopefully that's clear. And let's go again. Go back to the interface here. And yeah, so that's very important, how we do that. Okay, I'm sure I clicked it. Oh yeah, there we go. So delegation, very important area, and lots of tickets gets created in a big organization there. And obviously they might ask you in the interview as well. So then there is mailbox itself, and there's mail flow settings, there's message size restrictions. So the values for maximum send size, you can put restriction for Adele only, that you cannot send more than 35. So default is already 35 MB attachments in your mailbox. By default, user can send and receive 35 MB of 36 MB of attachments. This is by default already given, but you can change that. Maybe she's sending so much attachments there, and she's really abusing the company mailbox, and the end user recipient on the other side is not receiving any emails. So you can even put more restrictions on her. Either you can increase the size of this, in fact, set the maximum sizes for send and receive messages that is between 0 and 153 MB. Seriously. But how much load your mailboxes can carry? This is 35 megabyte right now, right? So you can increase or decrease that. For sending messages, how many attachments you can attach, and it will still able to send your email to other recipients, or how many emails, what kind of heavy emails that your mailbox can receive, your user's mailbox can receive. It can go up to 153 megabyte. Wow, amazing. That's big. You can attach a lot of pictures and PowerPoint slides and stuff. Okay. So This is just the sending and receiving size that you can control for each mailbox in the mailbox area, right? And message delivery restriction. So set to default to receive message from all senders and block message from no senders. So yeah, you can put restrictions here that accept messages from only selected people. This mailbox would only accept messages, emails from selected, whoever you selected, or yeah, accept from all. Require senders to be authenticated. So no, suppose you select that. So only authenticated users can send you email. No one who is not authenticated from your Active Directory will be able to send email to you. So that's not very useful, but given certain circumstances for certain mailboxes or users. So block messages from none, or you can actually start blocking messages for this particular user from certain domains. So suppose you go for ad center and any of the center here, you can choose and he or she will not be able to send any emails to this, right? So you can put some uh, blockage there as and well. If I go to mailbox here, so there's sharing policies. These are the policies that we're going to be going later, but there's a sharing policy, default sharing policy. You can share. Do you allow user to share, some of the mailbox features with other users, or share the mailbox with other users? Role assignment policy. Again, there are some advanced roles, higher privileges that you want to assign to the mailbox if you want to do that. And then there's the retention policy, very interesting. So how long do you want to retain the emails? Do you want to keep 10 years back emails in this mailbox, right? The user's mailbox. Or you want to retain emails for last 2 years and then you don't want to retain, then what do you do? So if you don't want to retain the emails for last older than last 2 years, then you should archive it, right? So if I go there, oh, I have to close this. So there's an archive status here as well. So you have to use the archiving feature. Archive just saves your emails for long time, right? So you can do that too. But you can put some policies there. And then there's email forwarding. So that is something that you should be very, very careful. You must have some approval and very good reason to configure that. Otherwise, company can take very harsh action against you if you're forwarding or if you have put automatic forwarding to whatever email is received in your mailbox gets forward to an internal email address, forward to an external email address. And if I put here Gmail address, every email that I receive from on my mailbox, company mailbox, would be forwarded to Gmail. So that's well, be very careful when you configure that, and you have all the approvals, written approvals from the managers, not verbal, written. Deliver message to both forwarding address and mailbox. So anyway, yeah. So we did in the bank way back. We had configured email forwarding, and that was a feature called journaling. Journaling. We're going to be talking about that feature. It's upcoming. But journaling means that you want to save a copy of all the emails coming to a specific mailbox. How would you save? How would you make a copy of that? Obviously, whatever email comes to that mailbox, you're forwarding it to another mailbox somewhere else. And this is approved by your managers, and this was planned that you create another, suppose, exchange organization or M365, you purchase another M365 services with a different domain name, and that is just for backup purposes. And whatever email you receive on some particular mailboxes are sent to your own other Microsoft Exchange Online mailbox, right? So if you want to do that, yes, with proper approvals, you can do that. So mail forwarding is a feature that is available. Then there are other features for the mailbox with custom attributes. You can add some extra features on search there, as well as any of the security features, member of group membership. So you want to add this user to any of the groups, and yeah, that's pretty straightforward. And others, if you go there, manage automatic replies. Now this is used for okay, there's a question there. Rafael is asking, can you apply email forwarding to users in a group at a time without doing it individually? If all the users in a group has two domain. So for a group, can you do email forwarding? For individual users, yes. For a group, I don't think so. We never had two for a group. That would be huge amount of emails, right? So it should be email forwarding feature should be here for a group. This is a group, right? Microsoft Survive group. There are types of groups as well, but email management delivery, I don't think mail forwarding is for a group. It's for a individual account. No, you can't. So it's for a group. It's for a mailbox, not for. Right, cool. Okay, here, automatic replies. Obviously, you need to. You're going on vacation, right? So you need to reply to all senders inside the organization, reply to all senders outside the organization. So you could say that I am not available or on vacation. They also say I'm on OO. I am on OO. You can just say that. Anyone knows what's a OO? Triple O? Anyone knows what's a triple O? I'm on OO. Yeah, ChatGPT would have told by now. So it's out of office, exactly. So I'm on OO or out of office uh, from 14 July 2023 till 26th July 2023. If it is important, then please contact Alex, and I will have limited access to emails, which means I will not read your email even though I can. Okay, don't write the bracket ones. But the thing is, I have limited access to email. So this is kind of message you can put there, and then you can copy paste this here as well, right? And automatic replies. I'm gonna click save, and once it is saved, and this is Adele's mailbox, right? So I put it there, and my mailbox is open. The currently logged in user's mailbox is also open, right? So if I go to that mailbox and then type Adele here, ADE, and oh, as soon as I want to send an email, there's a that OO message is there now, or automatic reply is there. Adele, automatic reply, I'm on OO, blah 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 blah. Show more, and you can read the whole thing. So so then you can just remove this recipient here that I don't want to send because she's not available in the office. Others and automatic replies. Actually, I'll just turn it off. Save. Others. And then mailbox archive. So this is very, very important. Now remember that this is the E5 license, Enterprise 5 license, right? So Enterprise 5 license offers unlimited archiving. Yay! Okay, so manage mailbox here. And if I enable that, so it says additional storage is a premium feature that requires an Exchange Online plan too. Actually, this user has a plan too. Or Exchange Online archiving license to enable it for each user mailbox. So I'm going to click learn more here. So E5 offers, suppose this user is gone, right? Then all the emails could be archived as well. So learn more about client access license. Each user or device that Exchange Online, right? Accesses an Exchange on server 2013. Server needs a client access license. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So standard CALs, enterprise CALs, blah blah blah. What? Online plans. Like this page is wrong. But anyway, it was supposed to talk about archiving. So okay, Exchange Online Plan 2 archive feature. So Exchange Online Plan 2 mailbox archiving is unlimited. Save whatever you want. The initial size of the archive mailbox is set to 100 GB. If more archive mailbox space is needed, Exchange allocates another 100 GB from your archive mailbox space. This behavior is referred to as the auto-expanding archive. Oh, okay, so that is really cool. But Exchange Online archiving service description and Exchange Online limits. This is very important that if you have an E5 license, why don't you just enable archive? Microsoft Exchange Online archiving is Microsoft blah, 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 enterprise class archiving solution for organizations that have deployed Exchange Server 2019, 2016, 2013, and online, right? Online archiving assists organizations with archiving, compliance, regulatory, and Microsoft Purview e-discovery challenges. So it resolves those challenges. So if you go down here, Exchange Online archiving for Exchange Server, and yeah, so it just says that Exchange Online archiving for Exchange Server via CAL, which is on premises. So 2019, 2016, 2013, it's not online. Talking about this is not talking about online. Exchange Online archiving for Exchange Online. Cloud-based archive and in place hold as an add-on for the following plans, and they just gave that archiving is available for all of those, right? Yeah, so feature availability across Exchange Online archiving plans. So what are the features there? That would be more interesting. Archive features, archive mailbox, Exchange Online archiving for Exchange Server, yes. Exchange Online archiving for Exchange Online 2, yes. Move messages using archive policy, import data to the archive, deleted item recovery. So you deleted something, you can recover as well. Deleted mailbox recovery, full mailbox could be recovered. Mailbox backup could be done, archived as well. Outlook can also have archiving. Archive just means that you're saving your very old emails permanently to, suppose you want 10-year-old email right away. So archive would just save it, right? So Outlook on the web, retention policies, they all support that. So this is a very good page for showing all kind of archival policies. And if you have the best license, E5 with Exchange Plan 2, so every mailbox has unlimited archive, which is really, really cool, right? But obviously, in the long term, you have to still think about it. Name is Adele archive mailbox. Suppose I give this name here, right? And save. So I'm enabling the archive feature for this particular mailbox because it has Exchange Plan 2, which offers unlimited archiving. So if I click here again, go to others, and yeah, convert to no. What am I doing? Yeah, okay. Oh, I forgot this. So mailbox archive is disabled. So why is it disabled? Archive usage displays the archive usage. Auto expanding archive is using 0 GB. Additional storage is a premium feature. Yeah, that's all that is there. In place archive, Adele Vance. So once we enable that, it's just going to auto expand if the size, more size is needed. And it's going to keep on auto expanding, right? It is enabled now. So that's pretty cool, right? Yeah, I had copied that, so I'll just put it here. Mailbox archive feature, which we enabled for Adele only, one mailbox. And it offers unlimited, so it's a good read for you to go for Exchange Online Archive. I'll just put it there as well, Exchange Online Mailbox Archive feature. Okay, so if we go back here, convert to shared mailbox. So shared mailbox, anyone knows what's a shared mailbox? And I need to check my audio next time. I'll restart my own machine. But anyway, do you want to convert the mailbox? Shared mailbox is mailbox for a team. One mailbox gets created, and then you can add many users who can access that mailbox and send email from that mailbox. Suppose there's a IT desktop support, right? So that desktop support would be given a shared mailbox, and there are 5 or 6 people in the desktop support that are supposed to be answering all the tickets for end users. So in that case, you would create a shared mailbox. So we're going to be creating shared mailbox as well. But you want to convert Adele's mailbox to the shared mailbox? It's so that's just something obviously we have to think, because shared mailbox should have a proper name like IT desktop support or something like that, right? So then there's litigation hold. Litigation hold is just if say, there is some kind of investigation going on against Adele. Maybe she, you know, didn't follow some company policies while the bidding was going on, and she hold some internal information to the bidders and just to get them the contract. So that's illegal. And there was an investigation going on. So litigation hold means that when you enable that on the mailbox, the user cannot delete anything. When litigation hold is turned on for mailbox, users can remove items from their mailbox, but those items will still be saved by Office. Okay, so items will still be saved, but actually users can remove, and users will think that the items are removed, but those items will not be removed, they will be saved, right? So if I put that on litigation hold, so date hold created, hold started by, and hold duration days, leave blank for no limit, wow, and visible to the user, note visible to the user. So you want to put you are under investigation, and that's why we are putting your mailbox to litigation hold. You can put there web page with more information about for the user. User wants to know what is this about and what does it do and what can I do, what can I not do. So you can put some information there. But if user does remove something, that will be still saved. That's what the litigation hold is. Okay. And if I go back here, so litigation hold we talked about, and then mailbox archive also. Yeah, mail tip. This is interesting that you want to put some information for the user when the user is about to email, right? You can create mail tip, a mail tip to display when people send email to this mail contact. The mail tip can have maximum. So about you're about to send email to Adele, right? And you can put any mail tip. Well, automatic message we did put there, and it did show as a pop-up when you were about to send an email to Adele, right? Remember? So mail tip, also is same. So email me at your own risk, right? So I'll just put something funny, but otherwise, obviously, this is not what you're supposed to do. So the mail tip has been created and saved. Now I'm going to try to email Adele, and oh, hey, I removed it. Sure. So yeah, it's not implemented right away. Leave page and refreshing that. So I put a mail tip there, and a mail tip is supposed to be popping up just like that message when you're about to send an email to that user. That's the main purpose of mail tip. Oh yeah, there you go. Email me at your own risk, right? So now the mail tip is appearing there. So you can just put any mail tip for all the users. Maybe you can put, some kind of precaution that avoid emailing with 40 MB of attachments, or you're about to email to an outside user. We have actually configured that in our Exchange organization. So when there's a Gmail somebody puts there or some other address, there's a warning mail tip comes there that, hey, this user is outside of organization user, right? Yeah. Yeah, Paul says in the chat, sounds like a 5 a.m. warning, email warning. So definitely, mail tip should be there from 5 p.m. till 9 a.m. tomorrow. So from evening till tomorrow morning, before office time, you can put that warning that you better not email me. I am not in office. So it's something like that, right? So, and recipient limit, that is also there. Specify the maximum number of allowed recipients on the two CC and BCC. So carbon copy, CC, blind carbon copy, BCC, lines of an email message sent from this mailbox from 1 to 1,000. So how many recipients, how many people Adele can send email to? How many maximum people Adele can send emails? So there's two CC and BCC. If I go to that, so there's two, there's CC and there's BCC. So 2 and CC is, everyone will see that list, all the recipients when they receive. But if you put someone in BCC, so the recipients who receive the email will see these two lists that, okay, the email was sent to me and to Nestor as well. But recipient will not see Ligu, that the email was actually, sent to Ligu as well. So that is blind carbon copy, or whoever the email was sent. The recipient will not know whoever this was sent, but there will be a message that there were some users that are not showing here. So recipient will still have an idea. Whoever received the email will have an idea that, okay, it's not, the email was not just sent to these guys that I can see here, but it was sent to some other guys, which obviously the recipient will never know that who else was sent, but there was email sent to some people that are not showing here. The recipient will have that idea, and he or she will know that, okay, some people were BCC'd as well, so I have to be even more careful now replying this email, right? So that is interesting, and so that's also maximum, right? So maximum how many you can use in 2 CC and BCC. So it's total 500 is the limit for the users to send email to. Okay, so that is it. Okay, okay. Others, yeah, we've gone through all the. So there's send on web, there's email forwarding, and there's hide mailbox. All those features are there. We've talked about all those features. So we're going to be going in depth with all those features, and we're going to be doing lots and lots of labs there as well. It's going to be interesting, and it's very, very important that you understand each and every feature of Exchange Admin Center. And then put in your resume whatever you have covered here. Start putting on your resume right away. Then I can, manage mailboxes, Exchange Online user mailboxes, how to assign licenses to mailboxes. I can do that. So just put it in your skills as you go through this and expand your resume, right? Okay, guys, have a nice weekend and see you next class. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Okay, believe me, class is over. Yeah, just kidding. Thanks, sir. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
And trust me, class is finished. All right. Bye. Oh, sorry. My audio is still up. Bye-bye. Okay. Yeah, I'm unable to hear anyone, but next time I'll restart my laptop before I start the class, but I can see the text. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. All right, I'll stop the video. I'll upload that on the channel.